Hi everyone. So today we're gonna be covering our first end-to-end project. I have been promising you guys for a long time that I will be covering few end-to-end project. Um, and literally, believe me, I have been trying for long to cover one of the project. But creating a project is very easy, but to create the environment to run that project is take lots of efforts. And this is where I spend my whole time there. So it's a very, very simple project. In fact, before I jump into theory, let me tell you what I'm trying to do. So basically, I'm trying to predict the sentiments, right? Sentiments from Twitter, and to see what that Twitter hashtag is telling to you guys, right? What that tweet means to somebody. Basically, um, we as a human, right, can read the sentence and tell, okay, this sentence is negative, positive, good, bad, or something. But when we want to tell this thing, or when we want to ask this question to machine, we need to train that machine first. To train that machine, we need to have the data, right? And for us, this data is nothing but tweets, right? And let's say if I tweeted something like, data science is good. Data science is good. This is first tweet, hashtag. Second thing, but data engineering is best, right? Third tweet, but learning is tough. So what we can see from these three tweets, that the first tweet is data science is good. It's kind of positive, right? We can see, because we know from our past learning that, okay, once somebody says good, it always means positive, right? When we say data engineering is best, again it's positive, right? And when we talk about but learning is tough, it's kind of negative or maybe neutral. So we know this thing, but how we learn this thing is, we learn this thing from our past experience. We kind of learned, we put the sentences, we read the literature, and we came to know, right? So to tell the machine the same thing, we need to train that machine. There's certain libraries which I will be covering here, but we need to have few things. What are those few things? Few things are, we need data which we will use to machine learn, or for NLP, natural language processing. This data into our case is nothing but Twitter, our tweets, right? So these two things. And to get these two things, we need certain system, right? We cannot directly log into Twitter and we can copy paste the tweets. That won't be a suitable solution. So we need to have a system which will connect to Twitter, read the tweets, store the tweets, process the tweets, learn something from the tweets, and tell us whether that tweet is negative, positive, neutral, good, bad, whatever, right? Okay, so this is the background. So this is what we're going to be achieving in next 40, 45, 50 minutes. Okay, so let's see now. So let's jump into theory now, and then we will obviously jump into practical. So when we talk about sentimental analysis, right, or sentiment analysis, in pure English, the sentiment analysis means the process of computationally identifying and categorizing option expressed in piece of text, especially in order to determine whether the writer's attitude towards the particular topic, product, etc. is positive, negative, or neutral. The same thing what I'm explaining to you, but it is written in proper definition form, right? So how we do Twitter analysis, we can do it in multiple ways, but we ideally do it in two ways. We will be either mining the opinion or mining the option or emotion, right? Opinion mining or emotion mining. So once we go for opinion mining, we can go for subjectivity detection or opinion classification. And once we go for emotion mining, we can go for emotion detection or emotion classification. Don't worry if you're not getting, I'll cover it in detail. Now coming to the system. So this is our data. So this will come from Twitter, right? We will pass this data to some system. So this is our system, and the output of the system is this, right? Now let's see what the system is, what we are trying to build, what are the software components, what are the different components. In very peculiar format, this is what we want. So this is our Twitter API, or this is our Twitter. From Twitter, we will have different kinds of tweet, and then what we're going to do, we are passing that tweets to Spark. In between, we will have some Kafka. Let me show you now. Okay, before I jump how to connect system, so obviously, see, whenever you log into any system, right, you need to have user ID password. So when you go to Twitter, so what Twitter, it will ask you for login ID password, right? So here you can say login. So it will take you to the Twitter UI. It will take you to the Twitter UI. But what I was telling you guys, that to work with Twitter tweets, we need to log in through API. So what Twitter says, that if you want to go for Twitter sentiment analysis, or if you want to extract tweets from Twitter, then you need to have the developer account. So there's something called developer account, Twitter API developer account. It's very simple to create, right? You need to go for apply for access. It will ask you so many questions, and you need to answer them very honestly, because it is not very easy to get the developer account created, right? And it will take time. So what you need to do, you need to go for apply for developer account, and then it will ask you for your Twitter ID password. I don't want to log in right now, but it will ask you what is the use case, why do you want to apply, is there any government organization involved, how you're going to be using those the Twitter data, lot many questions. Once you apply for it, it will take some time, maybe 1 week or so. They will get back to you with your Twitter API. And basically, when you talk about API, so you talk about 3 or 4 things, right? In any API, you have 2 things. First is called API key, and the second is called API secret key, or secret. Simple. API key means this key you need to use as a login. This is your user ID, kind of. This is your password, right? Now, when you talk about, and when you fill that form which I showed you, you answered a question, and luckily if Twitter reply back to you, and you log into the developer portal, you will find 4 things there: API key and secret, and access token and secret. Now, API key and secret is nothing but your customer key and customer secret. I'll cover it, don't worry if you don't understand, right? And access key and secret is how to access that Twitter API. Okay, in very simple terms, nobody will be asking this question to you, what is API key and secret, what is access key and secret. But to access Twitter API, you need to have 4 tokens, like 4 tokens, right? API key and secret. So first, this should be your API key. The second is your API secret, right? Third is your access token, and fourth is your access secret. These 4 things needed to be with you if you want to access the Twitter API. Simple, right? And these things you will get from developer account from here, right? Developer, Twitter, apply, access for something, right? So this is how you need to get access to the Twitter developer API. Once you have the access, now let's come to the system. So let's say you have the access now. What we're gonna be doing, and this is our end-to-end project which will look like. This is your Twitter. So this will be your Twitter API. From Twitter API, using our access key, access token, and all 4 items what I have discussed so far, we will connect to Twitter, right? And we will write Kafka producer to connect to Twitter and push the tweet data to one of the topic. Simple. I will cover somewhat about Kafka in this session, but I have covered in a lot of detail in my previous videos, so do watch them if you don't understand what Kafka topic is. Once the data is written to this Kafka topic, we will be writing our Spark streaming application, which will be reading data from this Kafka topic. Simple, right? And then we can, once this data is written into the Kafka topic, we can process this using Spark streaming ML library or some text blob library. We can do it anything. The only thing, the whole purpose of the project is just to show tell here. What you want to do with the data, you can use your own use case. Because before I jump into other scenarios, let me tell you how industry works, right? So when we talk about typical IT industry, especially related to data engineering, we have majorly 4 teams involved. Okay, so the first team is your business, right? The second team is you guys, data engineering team. The third team is your data science team. Especially, let's say 3 teams. Okay, so what business says that guys are, let's say you are some bank application. Okay, you are some Bank of America, let's say. So let's say your customer centric team or whatever, customer experience team. Okay, customer experience team raised a concern that okay, there are so many complaints are coming because of our mobile application, right? So they say there are so many complaints coming from our customers because of logins are getting delayed or they are getting failed. So what customer is doing, because my logins are getting failed, they are calling the customer care executive. That's the first thing they are doing. But at the same time, they are tweeting Bank of America, logging sucks. Bank of America, logging delayed. Quit Bank of America, kind of this, right? So these are the things. These are the things customers are saying. Okay. So now what customer experience team comes up with a business case to the business that can you do something for me so that if I see a trend with a very, very negative words towards my bank or towards our bank, can we raise the alert or can we talk to the engineers at the real time so that more tweets are coming or more reputation has been lost? Can we quickly resolve the issue, right? So what business say? Business come up with a business requirement that okay, we need to do something so that if your Twitter or maybe some social media, Facebook or something else have some negative trend going on about us, we need to raise alert and we need to act immediately, right? So business came up with the business requirement. Then business requirement is nothing, business team is nothing but business analyst, right? So business analyst come up with something, and then what business analyst will do, business analyst will be talking to 2 teams actually. First to you guys, second to data science team. Okay, so then what business analyst will be doing, okay, he will be talking to data science team. I need to analyze the sentiment from the Twitter, what you guys need. This is what business will talk to data science team. Then data science team will reply back to business that okay, to do this thing I need 3 things, and maybe they will need 4 things, I'm just assuming. I need 3 things. First thing, I need data. The second thing, I need some training model. Third thing, I need something else, XYZ, right? And then business analyst will come to us, to the data engineering team, that okay guys, can you provide this data in some way to data science team so that they can analyze it, they can do the sentiment analysis, they can do some natural language processing and all. And this is how the whole interaction will work. So now the interaction will be like this. Once this project is initiated, data engineering team will be talking to business on multiple occasions. At the same time, they will be talking to the data science team as well. That okay, this is our data, how this looks to you. Do you need further more columns? Do you need this column? Do you need this columns? What is the quantity or the quality of data you're looking for? And number of things, right? So this is how the whole system will work. So if you see data engineering position, they are somewhere in the between of all the processing. So everyone will be indirectly dependent on you. If you are providing garbage data, the result will be garbage. So this is where the data engineering thing will come, the importance of data engineering will come in picture, right? So this is how the business will work here. So now, as a data engineer, now you came to know two things, that okay, our data science team needs Twitter data, right? See, data science team don't know how we gonna be bringing the data. So they tell what they want. They don't tell how they want. So you are the one who will be deciding how to extract this data, right? And literally, in last 7 days, I researched almost 7 different ways to extract Twitter data. There are different libraries present. You can directly ingest into Spark. You can go through Kafka. You can go through Python. You can go through Scala. There are a lot of ways available. So they won't tell you how to do it. They will tell you what they want. Now it's up to you which library you want to use, which software systems you want to use, how much cleaning you want to do, different kind of stuff. What is the rate at which you want to ingest the data, different kind of stuff, right? So they will tell you what, data science team, and data engineering will decide how. And how means two things: your system or your software and your application or your APIs. Okay, so let's talk about all these things in integration. Okay, so we have covered till here that we have Twitter application. We need to ingest somehow Twitter data into your Kafka, and into some Kafka topic. From that Kafka topic, you need to read that data into Spark streaming as a consumer. So now we came to know two things. Let's cover the ingestion part first. So now we know two things, that okay, we are using Kafka, right? As a software engineering, data engineering team, we have decided one thing as a group, that guys, we will be using Kafka. Kafka for what? For data ingestion. So in simple terms, here will be your Twitter. So you need to extract data from Twitter. You need to put that Twitter data into some topic, right? And you need to read that data using some consumer. So in this case, Twitter will be your producer, and Spark application, Spark structured streaming application will be your consumer, right? Simple. So till now we are clear. Now when we talk about producer, we need something to connect to this Twitter, right? So we know one most important thing is your API keys, which we should have, right? The second thing is we need to have some libraries which will be connected to this API using those API keys. Okay, so I have made a list actually here. So when we talk about prerequisite, the first and the most important thing is your Kafka installation. So it's very simple to install Kafka locally. I have covered it in my previous lectures. So once your Kafka has been installed, right? So what you need to do? You need to, in fact, let me do one thing for you guys. Let me stop this. It has been running, and let's delete it. Let's delete it as well. So what we need to do? Okay, so first thing we need to do when we talk about Kafka, we need to start the Zookeeper, right? And to start the Zookeeper, we need to do one thing. We need to go for Zookeeper start.sh script, and we need to pass Zookeeper properties. I have covered it, but I'm still covering it again. When you hit enter, In my case, it is asking me password. Maybe in your case, it won't ask it ask the password, but it's a very simple thing. So you need to use zookeeper start.sh and you need to pass zookeeper properties from the config. Okay. So once your zookeeper has been started, so what I'm doing right now, if I go here and if I cover the diagram, what I was covering you, so I'm preparing this system. Okay, right now I'm doing this part. So when we see here, your zookeeper has been started. So now zookeeper is sitting somewhere here. So what we need to do, we need to start broker now. Broker is a machine on which this topic will be stored. Okay, so now to start the broker, what we need to do, since I'm doing everything in my local, we need to start a new terminal, and let's say we need to go for Kafka start. So when we talk about broker in Kafka, the script which will start the broker for you is your Kafka server start.sh, and you need to pass server properties. So in very, very simple terms, Kafka broker is nothing but your server on which your, simple terms, Kafka daemon is installed. Okay, so what we are doing, we are starting the Kafka server here, this part, and then we are passing the server properties to it. Server properties means what is the broker name, on which port the broker will be running, where it will be storing its data, and number of things. So let's see if it's working. It will ask me for password. So let's see if it is starting. So if it is started, then we will go to a Java code, or maybe we'll try to write some producer. Okay. So let's see. So right now, since it is taking time, yeah, it ran properly. So what at the end, if it runs successfully, what it will show us, it will show us that my broker with its name will be started successfully. So into my case, my broker ID is 0. Okay. If you guys want to see it just for 2 minutes, since I want to show you guys. So let's go quickly here. So what I did, so if you guys see here, when I was starting the broker, right, I used my server properties.config, this one. So if I simply show you this server properties, right, what I have written here, see my broker ID is 0, and I have used this configuration. So when I go here also my broker ID is 0. See, so from here my broker ID name will come. Broker ID is nothing but the broker name. So my broker ID or my broker identification is 0, right? And my broker will be listening to this port 90, 90, 92. My broker will write all the data to this particular directory, and there are a lot of things. And one more important property here is zookeeper. So my broker will be connecting to this zookeeper. That's why I needed to start the zookeeper first, because whenever my broker will start, it will try to register to the zookeeper. Okay, now this is first part. And one more thing, I used my zookeeper.properties, right? In zookeeper property, literally I haven't touched anything. So it is like anything. So the only important thing here is client port. I'm using 2181 as a default client port. Till now we are good. So what we have done so far, we have covered this part, right? In fact, let me clear it and we will cover one by one. So what we did, we covered till this part. This is your Kafka cluster, and here is your zookeeper. So we have started the zookeeper, we have started the broker ID is equal to 0. Now we need to create the topic, right? We need to create the topic. So let's create the topic quickly. To create the topic, and we can give any name to topic. So I have that script ready here. So to create the topic, let's say we want to create topic called Twitter. Okay, so I'll explain this command to you. And I have explained this command in past as well, but let's see how this command works. So what we are telling that, okay, use a predefined script called topics.sh, pass some flags, create, pass the topic name, and then tell on which broker you need to create the topic. So Bootstrap server is nothing but your broker list. And as I was telling you that my broker are listening to which port, 9092. So here I'm telling that on 9092 create this topic. The application factor should be 1, partition should be 1, because I have only started one broker. So that makes sense to me. Hit enter. So now let me copy this. So now we have covered till here. So let's go to our diagram. So this topic, this one I have covered till here, right? So when I paste it here, so my topic is Twitter. Let's delete it and here. So now we have created Kafka cluster, we have created this topic, we have created the broker, we have created Zookeeper. So it means our intermediate system is ready. Now we just need to use the system, right? So okay, it is taking time, but let us give it one more minute. Meanwhile, it is running. Now we need to write our producer. Write a producer to connect to Twitter, right? And this producer will write to this topic. This we know, and this producer will be using that API keys and API tokens and number of things, that those 4 different keys, right? And we will be writing this topic into Java, right? And let's see. So it is taking time. Let me quickly see one time. Okay, so this is running. Your Zookeeper is running, and let's see quickly. Timed out. Okay, 1 second. So cancelled create topic request with correlation due to 3 node zeros being disconnected. So what it is telling that my broker is disconnected, okay? But if you see here, let's do one thing, right? Rather than I take risk, I will do one thing. Okay, it's still disconnected. Let's do one thing. So stop. If you guys ever face this issue, the most easy thing is stop your Zookeeper, right? Stop your broker using Control-C command, right? And do one thing. So just delete the broker directory and the Zookeeper directory. So I have told you, right, that my broker is storing all its record into this directory, and my Zookeeper is storing this record in this directory. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just deleting all these directories. So what I did now, I have deleted the data directory for broker and Zookeeper metadata directory. Now let's do one thing. Start the Zookeeper again. Okay, and I'll start the broker again, and I'll then create the topic called Twitter. Okay, you can give any name, it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, starting, let's see what else is needed to move ahead. Okay, because obviously it will take time. So we have done till here. So we have installed the Kafka. Now one more important thing is, okay, this time my Zookeeper started. Now let me start my Kafka server or my broker again. So my broker ID is again ID 0 because I haven't touched the server.properties. It will be 0. Okay. So it started properly. Zookeeper started properly. Let's wait for this. And then we will be checking one thing. Ideally, we should know, but we will be checking in the Kafka version. So into my case, my Kafka version is 2.6. Okay, but why I'm asking you guys to check the version? Because that's the most important thing. And it literally takes a lot of my efforts, because because of dependencies, right? So whenever we are interacting with different systems, so here what we are doing, we are writing our code in Java. We have our Kafka installed somewhere. In Java, we should have some libraries to connect to this Kafka cluster. Those libraries we call as Kafka clients, okay? We call those libraries as Kafka clients. So what in ideal world, obviously it's a common sense thing, but I don't have that much common sense. So what I did, this Kafka is 2.6, and I was installing Kafka clients at 2.3. And when I'm connecting it, they're getting connected. But when I'm running the program, they are getting failed. And to be honest, I'm not sure whether I'm not that good in Java or not, but I was not able to understand these commands or these log files. Then I did a lot of research, and then I came to know that, okay, I need to check the Kafka version. And I'm not sure, guys, why it's not working. Okay, meanwhile, it's running. So basically, check the Kafka version. I'll check it for you guys. Then what you need to do, you need to go to your favorite IDE. Into my case, I have gone for Eclipse, right? Into your Eclipse, you need to write the Java program to connect to Twitter and to produce some data for you. Okay, so let's see how Java program looks like. So obviously, before we jump to Java program, we know two things, that this Java program will be connecting to two parties, something like this. It will be connecting to Twitter, and it will read the data from Twitter and write to Kafka. So we need two types of libraries. One is Twitter related libraries, and one is Kafka related libraries. One thing is very clear, right? The second thing, we know that we are talking about APIs. So we know that there should be some HTTP connectivity. And so we want some HTTP clients as well, right? So what this HTTP client will do, they will be authenticating you, or they will be moving your request here and there, HTTP request here and there, and writing the data here. So we know three things now. We need Kafka clients, we need Twitter clients, and we need HTTP clients, right? And obviously there will be other libraries needed, which are very general. This thing should be working. In fact, let's do one thing. One more thing. So I'll remove this again. I'll start this, and I'll go to Java code. So into your Java code, right? So first thing, I'm not a Java expert, first of all, but whenever we want to write a Java code, we need to import something, okay? So here, as I was telling you guys, to connect to Twitter, to connect to Kafka, you need 4 libraries. In fact, you need one library, right? That library is Kafka client. Okay, so into my case, and I'll show you the exact library, and I'll post this onto my GitLab or GitHub, I will post everything. But into my case, my Kafka libraries are Kafka client as 2.6 version. From that Kafka library, what I need to do, because I'm writing a producer, I need to import the producer. I need to import the producer config, producer record, and record metadata. Okay, I will be covering this all things, but let me copy this and cover in 2 minutes. Sorry, Control Z. And so this is good. And let's go here, and let's go to this page. So when we talk about Kafka, right? So we are talking about Kafka producer. So this import is nothing but created Kafka producer. So Kafka producer will be producing a record, which will be into our case nothing but Twitter. So this producer record is nothing but your Twitter data, right? Now we talk about producer config. Now producer config means where your producer needs to connect. So obviously this is your producer. it needs to connect to this particular Kafka broker. So it means what are your bootstrap server, what is the port it is listening to, what is your serialization key, or what is your serialization value. Because see, Kafka don't understand Java language. It don't understand anything, right? It just understand, okay, it need to connect to someone, it need to copy the data, it need to paste somewhere. But the serialization and deserialization, we need to tell it. So this is what these three records are: Kafka producer, Kafka config, and Kafka record. Okay, or producer record. So these three things are covered. So now let's coming to how to connect to Twitter. Okay, so connect to Twitter. I have used HBC library, and I'll cover it. And one more thing is HTTP client. So when you see here, I have covered HTTP host and host, and then HBC core libraries, core constant, and client builder. So now let's see what these things in reality are. Okay, so we know one thing, that to connect to Twitter, we need some HTTP connectivity. And to have this HTTP connectivity, we need to have some libraries. And these libraries, into our case, are HBC libraries, which are provided by Twitter. Okay, now let's see what these HBC libraries are. So what HBC library says, so HBC stands for host bud client. Okay, so the host bud client is broken down into two modules: HBC core and HBC Twitter 4G. HBC core module uses the message queue, which the consumer can pour for the raw string messages, while HBC Twitter 4J module uses Twitter 4J listeners. In very, very simple terms, we will be using Twitter 4J client, Twitter HBC client to connect to Twitter and to give us the data. But inside it will be using two libraries, HBC core and HBC Twitter 4G. Simple. Okay. So till now we are clear. Now, when we are using this HBC core client or client builder, we need to create the client first. Then we need to create the producer. Then we need to, okay, let's go to diagram. So what we need to do, we need to create HBC clients first, right? HBC client. So what this HBC client will do, it will connect to Twitter. Now, once this Twitter will be connected, it will generate tweets, obviously. And this was nothing but a message for us. We will be creating the Kafka producer, and we will be sending, this is your broker, right? So we will be sending these tweets to this broker using send message. Simple, in very, very high level. Okay, so now let's jump to the code. So when we see here, lot of different things what we are doing, but I will be covering major lines. So what I'm telling that, okay, create my Kafka producer. Into my Kafka producer, I have my key and value, both are strings, right? And then do one thing, create the hostbud client. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, so what I'm doing here now, so I'm creating create Twitter client. Okay, so I'm creating a function create Twitter client, and into this function, what I'm doing, I am thinking about the host. Okay, which host I need to connect, right? And then I need to think about what authentication mechanism I need to use. Obviously, API means few things: your client, your host, your authentication method, and your endpoint, right? These four things. So when we talk about client, when we talk about host, it's nothing but I have passed from constant to stream host. I'll cover it, but this is your stream host. And then the most important thing, obviously this code can be used as it is, but here when you see here, authentication method. So when I go for authentication for host bud authentication, I have used those four things: client key and client value. I won't be showing it full to you because that's very private to me. So client key, client value, authentication secret key, and authentication value, right? So in simple terms, these two things. So first, you need to copy paste API key and secret, and second is comma separated API token, access token, and access value. So they will be double quotes first, comma, double quote second, comma, double quote third, double quote fourth, in double quotes, okay? And then once your client is created, so what you did, you created your client. Then you, from this function, from this particular function, you will be returning your HBC client, simple, right? So your function is returning your, this function, this particular function will be creating a client for you using some parameters, using some authentication, and it will return the client, right? Now the second thing, what we need to do, we need to create the Kafka producer. Meanwhile, let's see here. Okay, so my Kafka is started, everything is good till now. Let's do, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to show you one thing to you guys. My Kafka version, because that's very important for you guys. So to see the Kafka version, this is the easiest way to check the Kafka version, okay? And why I'm emphasizing on it, because I have wasted 2 to 3 hours just on this. I don't want you guys to waste, okay? So it will run, and obviously it will come 2.6. I'm not sure why my, see, so my Kafka version is 2.6.2. So why I'm showing it to you guys, now I need to use the same clients into my Java program or into my Java functionality, right? So what I mean to say in very, very simple terms, this Kafka clients, which is nothing but my jar files, should be of 2.6 version. Okay, I'll show it to you in 2 minutes. But till where we have reached, we have reached till, in fact, let's do one more thing before we forget. Let's create the Twitter topic for us, okay? And then we will jump to code again. So just 1 second, guys. Control C and Control V. So it should create the Twitter topic for me, and then we will be using that Twitter topic into our code. I'll copy this. Yeah, so my topic has been created now. Okay, my topic name is Twitter. Okay, so okay, so our Twitter topic is created. Now we need to use this Twitter topic into our code. So to use the Twitter topic, we need to create the producer. So what we are doing here, we are creating the Kafka producer. The Kafka producer obviously will be sending some messages, will be using some configs. I will be covering those in other session, but this, let's cover it in lot of minute details, not in lot of dense details. So what we are saying here, that to create the Kafka producer, we need to tell, okay, which servers we need to connect, okay, and which serializer we need to use, which acknowledgement type we want, different kind of stuff, right? And when we see here, we are creating Kafka producer. Inside that Kafka producer, we are creating the properties, and we are passing these properties into your Kafka producer. So this particular function or this particular method, right, is returning Kafka producer, and inside this producer we are passing properties, and inside this properties we are passing the Kafka producer config, and inside producer config we are telling which properties we need to use to create the Kafka producer. Simple. So everything is very interrelated. If you guys want, I can tell you guys this. So we are creating Kafka producer. To create the Kafka producer, we need Kafka producer config. For producer config, we need some properties. These properties are nothing but your bootstrap servers, your serializer, your deserializer, and then you will be passing this properties to the producer config, and then producer config will be passed to Kafka producer function, and then it will be returned. Simple. This is what I'm doing here. Okay, so this function has written a new Kafka producer. Now going further, we will be using the Kafka producer. Very simple, right? So we have created two things, HBC client and Kafka producer. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to run it. So it means we need to use our HBC client, that is your create Twitter client, and the message will be coming, the message which will come from the Twitter client, we need to pass that message into Kafka producer, and we need to pass topic into the Kafka producer. So the topic name for us is Twitter. So we'll copy it, and what we will be doing here, so we'll pass the topic name here. So what we are doing here now, so when we see here, right, so we are using the client, HPC client, and we are polling every 5 seconds in the while loop. If we are receiving the message, we are passing that message into your producer, and we are sending that message to this particular topic, and we are sending that particular message. Very simple. We are connecting to the client using some APIs. We are polling the Twitter to get the message. Once we get the message, we will send the message using producer.send to that particular topic. Very simple, right? If we get some error, we will raise the exception. That's all. And then we will be using our main method to run the class. Simple. Now let's see if this whole thing is working or not. Okay, let's see quickly. So let's clear all this. Okay, one more important thing, right? Which topic we need to extract. So right now, let's say we want to extract topic related to coronavirus, the topic which contains coronavirus into them, or the message which contains coronavirus. Okay, so let's run it. So till now, let me verify whether my Kafka cluster is up, my broker is up, my everything is up. Okay, it should work. So okay, perfect, it is working. So what, and let me stop this for 2 minutes, and let me copy one topic for you guys, or one message. Sorry, I'm getting confused between topic and messages. So let me copy it here somewhere. So when we see here, this is one message. This is one message. And to be honest, it doesn't making much sense to us, but it's very easy because obviously this is your JSON object. So one thing what we came to know, that your API returns JSON object. Okay, JSON object, and we know because I've researched the API key, so I know 2-3 important keys. So one is created at, like what time that tweet is created, and one is your text. So here is your text. So right now we only focus on these two parts. Okay, so we now, what we have done so far, when we go to our diagram again, this whole part has been covered. So this area and this area has been covered, right? We can see the Twitter. Okay, now one question, right? So we have written some data to Twitter, Twitter topic, but let's verify one thing before we jump to the consumer part. Let's verify one thing. So where is that thing? Just one more second, guys. Sorry. Yeah. So let's see whether we can read data from this Twitter using not our consumer, but from Kafka default consumer. Let's see. Okay. So, and then we will write our own consumer. So I'm just verifying whether this data has been written to my consumer, so basically, let me explain in very simple terms. What we can see here, that this application, my Java application, is reading data from Twitter, right? But how I can be assured that it is writing data to this Twitter or to my topics? Okay, so before we move ahead, we need to verify whether the data has been written here. Okay, so let's run it. Ideally, it should read data from Twitter topic. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it means it is running. Now let me do one thing. Let's go here and let's run this application, and let's go to here. So what we can see here, ideally, if both are connected, see how quickly our Kafka topic, sorry, our Kafka consumer is reading data from Kafka topic. Okay, so now we have achieved one part. In fact, let me stop this consumer. So in 3 seconds, in 4 seconds, whatever, right? It has processed 135 messages, right? So, and let me stop this as well for 2 minutes. And let's go here and delete everything. And so this is your Twitter. This is your Java application. This is your Kafka cluster. So from Twitter, we have read the data into using your Java producer. We have written to your Twitter topic here. And we have verified it using Kafka consumer. So this is done, this is done, this is done. Now, since we don't want to use the Kafka consumer, we want to use our own consumer. Into our case, our consumer will be your Spark streaming application, right? And then once this data is written, we need to use some sentimental analysis to do the stuff. Okay, but before I run to next step, let me show you the libraries, right? Which are very important for you to maintain the environment. So if you go here, see, when you want to add the libraries, there are multiple ways. One is Maven, one is Gradle. What I did for simplicity, I added them manually because I want to do the research. But there, when I will upload this, maybe I'll use the Maven project. But let me show it to you right now. So go to build path, configure build path. So when you see here, there are 2-3 important things, right? The most important library is this Kafka client library. And this is where I did the mistake. And let me show you how much efforts I have put for this thing. So obviously, I will show you different stuff. But when we go here, right? See, Kafka 8 client, then somewhere is Kafka 3 client. And then finally, I was researching different blogs. Then I somewhere came to know that, okay, exact version needs to match. So I use Kafka 2.6.2. So this is where Kafka 6.2 is there. And then there are different stuff which you need to HPC core, which I was using, then HTTP core, HTTP client. And one more thing is here, that is your Twitter 4J core. Okay, so the 4 or 5 important libraries, the list, don't worry. And even I will send you the libraries, everything, whatever you want, okay? But these are the important libraries. So this has been done. One more important thing, which I faced. So basically, let me show you. So what happened that my system clock, and let me show you. So if you say adjust date and time, right? So, and if I do one thing, and these are the issue what I faced. Okay, these are the issue what I faced. So I'm just reproducing those for you guys. Set time automatically, no. How can I change it now? 1 second. So basically what was going on, my date and time of my system is 1 or 2 minutes away from the real time. So what happened that when it was authorizing using Twitter API, it was not able to authorize it. Okay, then I came to know from some blogs that, okay, please check your date and time or refresh it. So what I did, I just refreshed this time and it worked for me. So if your authentication is not getting successful, please check your system date and time. It should be in sync. Okay, so I'm not able to change it, but yeah, let it be. So these are few points. Now let's jump to our consumer. So we have covered the Kafka, we have covered the producer, we have covered a lot of details in Kafka producer, HBC client and everything. Now let's jump to consumer. Okay, people are asking me to create consumer in two different libraries. So I have done it. So they have asked me to create consumer in fact, there were 3 demands: PySpark, Scala Spark, and Databricks. So I have done in all 3, and if time permits, I'll show you. So let's start with Scala Spark. Okay. So I have used Scala IDE here. Okay, and very simple application. If you followed my Spark videos, it will be very easy for you to understand. Okay. Okay. So first of all, as usual, you need to import a lot of things. So the most important thing is your Spark session, function, and struct field, lot of things. Nothing very fancy because I haven't imported anything special here. The only thing which you should be knowing is Kafka utils. Okay, anyways. So when you see here, so I have created a Spark session, nothing very fancy. I have created Spark session, give my application name is test, used all my local cores. I have kind of telling Spark that okay, if you're shuffling, only do 3 partitions, gracefully shut down, and we can say this as well if you want that okay, schema inference is equal to true. Okay, so this is done. Now the most important thing, right? In fact, let's do here Twitter. Okay, so what I'm telling Spark now that okay, read stream from where? Read stream from Kafka, right? And from which bootstrap server? Read from this bootstrap server and subscribe to this topic and load it. Simple. I'm just telling Spark to do this. But one more important, most important thing, let me show it to you guys. When we go here, right? And okay, let me in fact do one thing. vi server dot properties and do one thing. Just 1 second. I'm just producing one more error which I faced and take a lot of time for me to resolve. So I'll go here. I'll say and say WQ. Okay. So what happened? That what I'm telling Spark now, that please connect to localhost, connect to this particular broker and connect to this particular server, right? And do different kind of stuff for me. Okay, let's run it in 2 minutes. So let's clear this screen and let's run this. So basically, I'm just doing few things. So basically, connecting to this host, right? And we know, okay, let it run and then I'll show it to you. It's very, very interesting application. The bad part is I've researched the whole internet. Nowhere this whole integration has been shown end to end. Nowhere. So it takes a lot of efforts to build these libraries, build the dependencies and all. Okay, so let's see. So obviously I know it will fail, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so it is running, and now what it is doing, it is not moving ahead, right? It is not doing anything. So I won't be worried about it, but let's do one thing. So let's stop this for 2 minutes. We know one thing. Now, when we are reading from Kafka format, in format of Kafka, the structure is something like this. So the structure will be key, value, topic name, partition name, offset, timestamp, and timestamp type. Simple, right? And which field or which column we are more interested into value column. We know this part. Okay, so what we have done two things here. So what I've done, I have created my schema. Into my schema, for now, I have only created one column whose name is text. Now, one thing which we need to keep in mind, that our column name should be equal to this column names created at ID, if you want to create ID, and text and other stuff. For example, if you see here URL or different kind of stuff, right? So these column names and our schema column name should match. So what I did here, I have used the text column, right? And then from the, as I was telling you, the value column is most important. So what I did, I read the value column. Value column is nothing but all the data of the Twitter, all the data. All the data means this full data. From this data, what I have asked that, okay, convert this. Okay, when we see here, this is binary. So what I did, I have converted this string, and then I have attached my schema. This is schema to the value. And since I'm only reading text here, so it will be only giving me the text. Okay, and I have aliased it to, renamed it to test. We can rename it to anything. I'm just doing it for my sake. And then I read everything from there. And then the simple word count program. And I will tell you why I'm not doing sentiment analysis. I will cover that part as well. In Spark, I'm not doing it. So, and then what I'm doing, I'm splitting this text. When you see here, this text, right, 7 days, US confirmed county, this particular text by spaces. And then I'm finding, obviously, when we talk about tweets, right, how tweets work? Tweets work like this. Hashtag hello. So what I'm doing, I'm counting all the words which are starting from hash. Okay. And then I'm just counting them. So ideally here in Scala, I'm doing the major or the highest trending tweets. Simple. Okay. So basically this program haven't run. Okay. This program ran, but it haven't give anything. It means it is not connected to the Twitter, or it is not connected to the Twitter topic. Okay. So why it is not connected? The only reason is this one. Even this is not written anywhere on internet. So let's go here. So when we go to our server properties, it means our broker properties, we need to do one thing. So if you see here, just 1 second. So local host. Let's see where I have written the local host. And okay, so this is important. So when you want to tell Spark application that local host means this particular machine. So into your server.properties, right, there is one property called advertise listener. There's one property called advertise listener, this property. So this property is something like this. So this local host is not present. So it will be like this or something like this. Okay. Okay. So what you need to do, you need to write local host here. And then you need to save it. Okay. Now let's run it. So what we see here, let's run our Twitter application, means producer. And let's run our consumer application. Okay, so this is good. Let's see if this is working. And then in next 5 minutes, we will be covering your PySpark, and then we will be covering our Databricks. Okay, so this is your consumer application. So just make sure one thing, that your advertised listener into your server properties should be focusing to this particular local host, this one. This one. Okay, so this local host or whatever the host name is here should match into your advertised listener into your server properties. Okay, so let's give it 2 more minutes. And then we will see. Okay, perfect. It's working now. So what we are seeing now, that it is reading data from this, right? And it is counting the hashtags and it is giving data to us here. Now this is not sentiment analysis, and I'm telling you why. So let's minimize this. So I have tried to achieve the sentiment analysis in Spark, and if you see here, I have created one utility called sentimental analysis utils dot, and into this, so for Spark or for Java, see, Spark, Java are not meant for machine learning at all. Python is very much mature in NLP, AI, or ML. But what I did, I tried to did it in Scala for you guys. So what I did, this Stanford has created some libraries for us that's called Stanford Core NLP libraries. It is working perfectly fine. This whole program has been compiling, no error, right? But when I'm using it, it is giving me some error. So what that error is, let's see. Let's stop this in 2 minutes, and let's see if I'm able to produce that error. And I will be looking for you guys to resolve that error. Okay, let's see. So let's run this again. So everything is working fine. The code is compiling, but it's a runtime error. So if you guys do have some time, resolve this error. I will obviously share this code with you guys, but NLP is not working into my Scala code. And I have tried literally my best, but it didn't work for me. So meanwhile it's running. So what we have achieved so far, into Scala Spark, we just find the trending tweets, right? Trending tweets. So now we will be covering PySpark in 2 minutes, but let's see why it failed. So what it says, and see again, there is no proper documentation here. What it says that my serial version UID and my local class serial version UID is different. And literally, since I didn't write those jar files, I don't know how to make them correct. So I just quit, you know. So this is done, right? So we have covered one part. Now let's go to how to write this application in PySpark. So in PySpark, I have used PyCharm. Okay, so let's jump to PyCharm. In PyCharm, what I have done, clear all, okay. So let's go here. PyCharm is also very interesting. So obviously, we will be using everything Kafka utils, Spark context, and we will be almost doing the same thing, what we have done there. And in fact, let's go here, right? So we have used everything, Kafka utils, explode, split, JSON call, like the same thing what we used into your Scala program. And then we have done the same thing here, that okay, whatever you read from your df1 is your this part, right? So basically here also you did the same thing. You go to Kafka broker and you read from 9092 port and you give some structure to it, the same thing, and then you selected everything from there, and then what you did, you splitted the tweet based on space. You call that at words, and then since now here we are doing sentiment analysis, and for sentiment analysis, these particular words like hash, @ HTTP won't make sense. So what we have done some pre-processing. We have removed all the what we can say non-usable words from here, right? And then to do the sentiment analysis, we have used one library called TextBlob. Okay, now before I move ahead, here also we used Kafka utils, right? We used Kafka utils. Now the question arises how to build or how to import that Kafka utils into your PyCharm, right? It is not available into the library section. What you need to do, guys, you need to go to your conf. You need to, okay, so when you go to install Kafka utils, into your PyCharm, what you need to do? You need to go to your Spark installation, go to conf, create a new file called sparkdefault.conf. Into that sparkdefault.conf, based on your version of Spark and whatever Kafka, what do you need to do? You need to just write one line here: Spark jars package org.apache.spark. Then these are important, that's why I'm covering, colon, and then till here which version of Kafka and Spark you are using, and then the client library version. So this line is very important. Obviously I will be sharing this line to you, but now when you run this program, right, what it will do? It will, not this one, when you run this program, it will import all the libraries related to Kafka into your program on runtime. Okay. And one more important thing, sometimes when you want to import the external libraries into your PyCharm, for example text block, it won't work, right? So to make that work, you need to do two things. If your libraries are failing to download on runtime, what do you need to do? Obviously you need to go to view, where is that? Tool windows, Python packages, right? So when you go here in Python packages, you can see here, obviously I have corrected my, but if you want to install anything, you can go here, you can type here, and then it will be installed. But if it is failing off because your pip is not working, or your different kind of stuff is not working, what do you need to do? You need to go to your conda prompt, and you need to run two commands. The first command is this: conda config set allow non-channel URLs to equal true. What non-channel URL true will do? It will connect to different URLs onto the common libraries, for example pip, and then it will allow them to your PyCharm to connect to those libraries and to download the package. And the other one is this particular property, that conda forge should be equal to true. So these two properties should be enabled if you want to make your program working. Okay, now let's run this. Let's go to your PyCharm. So let's go to your Eclipse first. So we can see here that it's still running. It means your Twitter is, obviously people are regularly tweeting on Twitter, and our Kafka is regularly consuming them. So now we just need to start our broker or our consumer. Okay, so let's go here. 1 second. Windows. Where's my console actually? Yeah, this one. Okay, so let me run it. So the program name is Sentiment, and let's run this. Let's see if it's working. Okay, so what I've done here also, I have done the same thing. So when you see here, right, this is what I was talking about. Since I have mentioned that line into my config, Spark config, so what it did, it downloaded everything, 6 libraries for Kafka, and everything is working. So obviously I'm running it multiple times. So it said 0 artifacts copied, 6 already retrieved. Into your case, it will be 6. It will be retrieving 6 artifacts for you from Spark parent directory. Okay. So it is doing something. It is connecting to the Kafka topic. So did I change the topic here? 1 second, guys. No, I haven't changed the topic. So I need to change the topic to Twitter here, right? Because I've created a new topic. So I'll stop this again, and I'll run it now again. Okay, so what text blob will be doing for you? It will analyze each word. It will analyze each word for you first thing, and then it will analyze the sensitivity and three things for you actually. So what it will do for you, it will do three things for you. Okay, so it will be telling the subjectivity for the word, polarity of the word, and okay, do two things: subjectivity and polarity. Okay, let's see. Polarity means whether the word is negativity or not, negative or not. Subjectivity, which subject it's related to. Okay, so it's the same thing what I was covering here. So this one, subjectivity and polarity, emotional. Let's see. So it is connecting to my internet. Perfect. It's working, right? So what we can see here, it is again reading the words. Since I haven't removed the spaces and all, you guys can do it. See, when we see here, it is reading the word, and I'm not sure why text block is giving like this, but for every word, it is giving us polarity and subjectivity. So it will need more training, the text log, or we can use other NLP objects, but this is where the data science team will come in picture. Now let's stop this. Let's stop this as well, and let me cover one more thing. In fact, let's see one more thing before I jump to more theory. So when we go here, and if I can see here, Databricks, right? So what I did here, okay. So what I did here, I tried to do the same thing in Databricks, and this is my community edition of Databricks. But everything was working fine till here. Everything is working fine till here. But when I'm reading my stream, it is not able to connect to the stream. And it's not because of any configuration, but because my community cluster was very slow. So one thing we know, that we can use any code into the code which is written into my notebook, right? Into my Eclipse, into my PyCharm, can be used as it is here. So if you want to go for Databricks, you can just copy paste one line from here to there, right? Now let me tell you one thing. From data engineering point of view, not from data science point of view, right? So what we have done so far, we have read data from Twitter. We have write our Java producer. Right? And then we have write using this Java producer into our Kafka broker into this topic. The topic name itself was Twitter. And then from this topic, we have read it using two clients. One is your Scala Spark streaming, and one is your PyCharm or PySpark streaming. One thing which we came to know here, we were not able to do the sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis, we are not able to do it. Here we are able to do sentiment analysis, but I'm not sure whether that's 100% correct. Now, why I'm covering this thing, as a data engineer, your work stops till here. Sentiment analysis is not your cup of tea. So what data engineer will do, they will give the clean data, clean and processed data to data science team. Now it's up to data science team what they want to use. They want to use text blob, or they want to use NLP, or they want to use Spark ML, or they want to use any other library. The only thing what data engineering team needs to make sure that the data what they are providing to data science team should be clean, should be processed, and should be in the format what data science team is expecting. For example, if data science team don't want hash, don't want what is this at sign, don't want HTTP word, you need to remove this. If they don't want space, you need to remove this. If they don't want is then all the common use words, you need to remove it. But this is where your work stops, right? I have tried to cover what data science team do, but somewhere I'm not able to do it, but this is where what it do. So today we have covered one end-to-end project. We have written everything, how to connect to Twitter, how to create topic, how to consume it, how to do some sentiment analysis. And I will be writing this code into my GitHub. And do let me know if you guys stuck somewhere, because I have covered everything where I got stuck, and there's no proper documentation available anywhere. So if you're stuck, that's not a big deal. But do get back to me in comments, and please do subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it.